The small, railroad-dependent village of Oak Lake is nestled peacefully in Becker County. Suddenly, a blaze breaks out in an outlying farmhouse that would claim the lives of an entire family.
We got you again. I didn't even know it was over there.
Oof,
that was perfect. He was like hiding in the metal tube or whatever.
That's the last thing I needed. You know what that does? That makes me not trust anything for like 2 days. Now I'll just live in fear until I die.
Don't worry, I took care of him for you. I
crushed
his body.
Hey, Big Papa Cody, big gorilla thumbs up to you, son.
Yeah.
The savior, the slayer of demons. A hair just fell on my hand, and I thought it was a spider.
Were you recording when you screamed like that?
Absolutely not.
God
I wish I
damn
was,
it.
though. I wish I was, because that was the... God, that's number one most girly thing I've ever done in my entire
It was
life.
a very feminine scream there.
That was a real terror.
I mean, I could give like a replay of it if everyone takes their headphones off.
Hold on, I'll turn you way down.
Damn.
That was...
It was maybe a little...
It was much quieter than that.
Yeah. Luckily, it blew out our eardrums.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why I was thinking of this last night, Adam. Well, since your weakness is spiders, okay? If you are a superhero, your weakness is spiders.
Mm-hmm.
And I was last night going through Netflix, and that Motley Crue movie popped up on there.
Oh, yes.
And then I was like, why does Adam have such an extensive knowledge of celebrities' past drug addictions? Have you ever realized that?
No, I didn't realize it, but...
You seem to know every single ex-drug user in Hollywood and what their past addiction is and what they were addicted to.
Yeah, I could actually, yes, now that you mentioned that, I think so.
We'll be talking about people and be like, oh yeah, he used to do smack. I'm like, okay, I had no idea.
I don't know. Probably just podcasts.
That could be. Yeah, that could be. It's just, I don't know why I thought of that at 2 a.m. when I was scrolling through Netflix. But
Did you watch the Motley Crue one?
Not yet.
It's pretty good.
It was all right.
I heard
I mean, it really goes to show how much shit you can get away with when you're rich and famous.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, who's the really bad one? Nikki Sixx, he's the worst one, right? Like drug addict wise.
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
Well, I thought he was a drug addict before they even got the band going.
Yeah, they did, but he's like completely sober now.
But after he almost died, how many times?
No, after he did die.
He did die.
Oh, he did? Well, okay. We're gonna split hairs like he did die?
No, he was dead for 6 minutes.
His heart stopped beating for 6 minutes. That's dead. That's
How the hell
dead.
do you survive that?
He didn't.
You get
survive.
a lot of shots of adrenaline straight to the heart.
He didn't survive. He died. But they brought him back from the dead.
How much you want to bet did he turn religious after that?
No, he did not turn religious.
Did Monk... Who's the Corn? He was going around at...
Head.
Ted was going around at churches around Minnesota, too.
Yeah.
Talking about God and how it saved him and all that.
That's pretty metal of him.
I'm starting to sound pretty bitter, so I'm going to stop. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Bumblebutt Podcast, the only podcast on the internet that uploads weekly. Who knows what it'll be about? Me. My name is Adam. Sitting across from me this week is Cody. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Little bit of a sniffles today, but all in all, my week's been all right.
It's hotter than a pistol up here.
I don't think so.
It's hotter than a pistol.
It's really not that bad up here.
It's hotter than a pistol up here.
It's raining out, isn't it?
It's raining.
It was raining. Now it's not raining. It's probably going to rain again.
You know what's nuts? I went to Cub like 2 hours ago to get myself some barbecue chicken. And it was beautiful and sunny and warm. And then as I left for the podcast after eating my chicken, it had rained and it was cold.
Yeah.
That was strange. That was a very strange thing.
I could imagine so.
I'm starting to sound a little sick now that I hear myself in the old microphone.
I mean, you do got a little bit of a nasal thing going on.
I do.
I know, it's really annoying. I don't know what the hell is going around or whatever, but fuck, it's annoying.
Yeah, this is lame. This is lame, especially because it's my week.
Yeah.
I gotta say shit this week. Also, sitting across from me, Jordan.
Hello.
How are you, pal?
I am fantastic.
We saw each other on Tuesday for the live show, right?
Yes, we did.
Did you return the lederhosen to your brother?
He is currently at 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 Camp Ripley, so they are being kept in safe storage.
Okay, yes. Where's Camp Ripley?
It's like 3 hours northwest of here. It's around the Brainerd Little Falls area.
Nice. What's he doing?
His annual training.
Nice. Is he still a beast in that thing? What was he last time you talked to me?
Oh, no, his job is the Federal Incentives Manager for the Minnesota National Guard. So anyone who joins the National Guard, like, he approves or denies, like, their bonuses and shit for enlisting. Like, did you fulfill everything that you agreed to get this bonus? If yes, they get it. If no, they don't get it. Or if they've already gotten it and it turns out they didn't complete it, they have to give it back.
Damn, moo. So they call him a paymaster?
In that sense, yes.
That's pretty dope. I wish I could be a
How
paymaster.
do you stumble upon that job? That sounds like a good job.
So right out of high school, he went active duty in the Army, and, you know, he did his deployments in, like, Germany and Iraq and whatnot.
One of them much more fun than the other, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then he, like, took a year off, and then he just signed up as a weekend warrior with the National Guard.
Hey, we respect all of them.
Hey, I do too. That's just the term, man. And then they saw, like, oh, you've done 4 years, you know, active duty Army and whatnot, and they offered him a position full-time with the National Guard, and he took it, and it's just been growing since then.
That's pretty dope.
He's now a sergeant first class, I believe.
So
That's rad.
He's full-time? Like,
Yeah.
That's his job?
Yeah.
Okay.
40
That's rad.
hours a week, baby.
Well, how much older is he than you?
He is 2 years older than me.
Damn.
Well, he should be close to a military retirement.
He's got like 8 or 9 years, I think, because that year off that he took between.
Oh. I always wondered about that. Do you have to go straight through, or can you, like, quit
as
for
long
a while
as
and you come back?
as long as it is a cumulative 20.
Okay. So
All
you
right.
could take like 5 years off and then join
Yeah.
the Guard, and then
Yep.
that's pretty dope.
So if I sign up right now, and
They'll
I'm
say
in
no.
and I'm in there 20
Yeah,
years,
they're gonna give you a hard no.
They're gonna say, no, thank you.
and then I can retire in 20 years when I retire normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect, dude.
With
Perfect.
80% of the highest pay grade you ever received for the
Hell
rest of your
yeah.
life.
How about that shit?
What if you never made it past a private or?
Wouldn't that be pretty hard?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get past a private.
Like, I don't know.
Congratulations, you did your job for a year. You're a specialist.
I think you might have to be an actual idiot.
Yeah.
Just stay a private for 20 years.
Yes.
Jordan could do it, I think.
Oh, I have no doubt in my mind I could do that.
All right, let's shoot our way right into this mother beeper, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, boys. Today is very special.
Oh.
Today, Adam found out Walter Trenery, my old friend Minnesota Murder,
Uh-oh.
he released an extended edition at some point of
Oh,
Murders in
shit.
Minnesota with a story that was not in the other one.
Sweet.
That's what I like to hear.
I could see you.
Is there a bellhop involved?
No bellhops.
God
No William
damn it.
Williams. No bellhop blues.
William Tenery's, he's dead, right?
Gotta be.
Okay. That's
Got it.
what I thought. I think I remember he's really old. It'd be sweet if you were in, like, one of his... They kept going, like, a really old fan club of his, like a snail mail one.
Oh, I'd join.
You know how, like, now, obviously, you hit a fan membership or whatever, it just sends you an email.
Yeah.
What if this guy was still sending out snail mail?
And there were
That'd
some
be rad.
jerks that were like, like putting glitter bombs in there on Walter
Hell
Trenery's
yeah.
birthday and shit. That would be rude.
I feel like that guy who did that in that video should have did something a lot meaner than just glitter.
Like anthrax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Human diarrhea.
Yeah. Oof. God damn. All right, gentlemen. After that one, after that human diarrhea bomb, we're gonna go to Bobolinks' last war whoop.
Okay.
What the fuck is that?
I'm already intrigued by the name because it sounds like it's just a party.
Bobolinks' last war whoop, gentlemen. This is fantastic. All right?
Fire away.
During the most heated time in the American Civil War, 1862 to 1864, Minnesota volunteers, with the help of federal troops, were busy pushing the Sioux westward out of Minnesota. The Chippewa remained in the north, in the Mille Lacs region, the region they had pushed the Sioux out of 100 years previous. The Chippewa refused to take part in the Sioux uprising, instead deciding to stand with folded arms while the whites exterminated their common foe. Okay, here's a little problem right off the bat.
Yeah.
I know they're not called Sioux now, but this book was written in 1960.
Okay, what do they refer to? What's their tribe called?
Lakota.
Okay.
The Lakota tribe. I will try my hardest to say Lakota, but I wrote Sioux about 14 million times before I remembered that.
It's not the Mille Lacs band of Ojibwe.
Is it still?
I don't know.
Because that is the Chippewa, or they're up in that region too.
Yeah.
I'm going to reference the Ojibwe.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
Cash me outside.
Oh, what I was going to say. I've been in the same predicament. I've actually been reading a book that was published, I think, in like the 70s, right? Not as old as this, but they kept using the term half-breeds.
That's in here, too. I have quotes with
I'm like,
that in
oh,
there.
My God.
Yeah, man, that shit's ridiculous, the amount of race.
I was like, this was a different time. Holy shit.
But it wasn't that long ago, where you could call them half-breeds.
It's
Holy
fucked up.
shit, that's bad.
Like, that's when our parents were growing up and you could still say that shit.
I also wrote Indian a few times in here, too, but I'll try and say Native American right afterwards so you can just cut that first part out.
Okay.
Although Chippewa-white relations in the state were pretty peaceful, the tribe would later prove itself capable of causing trouble for northern Minnesota settlers. Now, by 1871, the Chippewa were largely confined to reservations. Of course, the whites took out the Sioux, and then turned their full attention to the other native powerhouse in the state. So they went right back on that deal.
Yeah.
So I was kind of wondering, what if the Chippewa did team up with the Sioux? I wonder if they'd have a really hard time defeating them then. I don't know the size of the tribes,
right.
But
well, that's the big thing. Like that's still in contention today. What would have happened if they teamed up instead of the Chippewa folding their arms?
Yeah. Fucking white people.
Right?
That's kind of how I feel about it.
I've said, like, every time I read something about America eradicating the natives, it's just like, it's the worst.
It's terrible.
Bad.
It's disgusting.
It's pretty fucking bad. And I remember playing cowboys and Indians and stuff like that.
Yep.
Brutal. Also in 1871, a man named John Cook took up a claim at Oak Lake in Becker County. The small, now vanished village butted up against the White Earth Reservation, where John Cook once worked on the side of the government. He had been a trapper and fur trader among the Native Americans at Leech Lake, but now he wanted to settle down and farm. The Oak Lake settlement, where Cook would plop down his farm, was established in 1871, when the Northern Pacific Railroad reached that point and established a station. Like most frontier railroad towns, it had its brief time in the limelight and then disappeared. But unlike many of these other towns, we know the exact date of its death. On May 27, 1872, the railroad moved its Oak Lake station to nearby Audubon, which as of the 2010 census has a booming population of 519.
Oof. Thriving.
Jesus.
Thriving.
That
sounds like the place to be in Minnesota.
That's a strong community. It's so strong, I've never heard of the dang thing.
I know, man. Drove through a town a few times this week for work called Biscay, Minnesota. Population 133.
My God.
I think right over here, okay, you know where there's...
Lilydale.
Sunfish
No,
Lake.
62.
the town that's called Landfill.
Yeah, over by St. Paul Harley.
Yeah, that's like, why does that
It's
even
called
exist?
Landfall.
Landfall.
Landfill is the nickname. The city is a trailer park.
Yeah.
Well, then it would be a fucking landfill, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, that's the joke.
Yes,
got
Cody.
JPG, my friend.
He's just assuming because there's a Harley dealership, there's got to be a trailer park.
Well,
I worked at the Harley dealership.
And lived in the trailer park. No.
I did not live in the trailer park. I just saw it
Moving
every
to
goddamn
the trailer
day.
park.
John Cook was a native of New Hampshire. His wife, Diantha, was born in Maine. He served in the Civil War as an engineer on the Little Ada, a 150-ton, screw-propelled steamer, which was captured by the Union Navy during the war.
I kind of wouldn't mind seeing a steamer lake battle.
Oh.
That'd be pretty sweet, wouldn't it?
It would be like if a giant was having like a Bath Navy fight with his toy boats. That would be dope. As with most other soldiers of the time, John Cook kept his uniform after the war and was often seen about Oak Lake wearing his Navy coat, on which Mrs. Cook had replaced the usual brass buttons with black buttons. That'll be important.
Okay, all right.
In 1872, the Cook family consisted of John, about 40, Diantha, about 32, Freddie, barely 9, Mary, 7, and young John, 21 months. Although Cook was now a farmer, he continued to trade furs with the local natives. On April 26, 1872, a friendly Indian known as Frank brought him 100 muskrat skins, which he stored upstairs in the fur room. John's young son Freddie was so excited about Mr. Frank's visit that he ran over to tell his aunt, Mrs. Nellie Small, about it.
Is Frank his legitimate name?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. I think that's what the White Devil gave him.
I think so. I also believe that.
It's not a terrible name.
My name,
I guess.
Running Horse. Okay, what's up, Frank?
I was just thinking, I think when the last week I was getting tattooed, I had like an extensive conversation about muskrats and how they're like the most shootable animal ever.
Oh, can I? Okay. Here, I'll tell you something.
I mean, they kind of are like cute, but they kind of have an annoying look on their face.
Not gonna lie, the most shootable animal ever is the Canadian goose.
Border jumping terrorists. No, I used to work in Fridley for Arctic Glacier, the ice company.
Yeah.
And out back, there was a bunch of muskrats all the time near like this industrial pond. And one day when we didn't have anything to do, one of my coworkers and I went to his house and got his paintball gun. And definitely were shooting at muskrats. I don't know if we hit or not, but...
That's just mean.
We were also driving golf balls at them, but we definitely didn't hit any there.
Well, then you just got to get better with your swing.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't even think Tiger Woods could hit a fucking muskrat.
Listen,
really, Cody? You don't think Tiger Woods?
No,
he just won the Masters.
I don't remember if I've said this on a previous episode, but the battle between my dad and the local muskrat... I just remember he was just talking about it.
Let's go. And
me and him were sitting there, and all of a sudden this little shit comes creeping out. He literally sits right in the front driveway and just stands up staring in there. So my dad tries to run and get his rifle because because the thing's been digging up underneath the barn or whatever. And I swear to God, the second he went to go get the gun, it's like the little muskrat knew and just scurried off. And here comes my dad out the house like fucking Elmer Fudd trying to shoot this thing. It was seriously like fucking Iowa Caddyshack.
Dude, I want to hang out at your parents' house for a weekend
with Josh.
sometime.
Josh needs to be there.
I think they have these weird little sensors they put in the ground that emit like this weird screeching noise.
Yep. For voles, muskrats.
Yeah, so I think the house is loaded with them. So I don't think he ever got that guy.
Is it just an alarm that lets your dad know the muskrat's there so he can go get his rifle?
No, it's Claymore mines all over the property, actually.
Bam! Listen, I'll help your dad take out that muskrat.
Yeah, I would have some fun with that.
This is like 5 years ago. I'm sure it's dead by now.
Yes.
Well, its offspring are still alive.
We got to genocide the family.
This is a generational feud now.
That's right. We're like ancient China. We gotta take out the root and the stem. The Smalls lived on an adjoining claim about 3/4 of a mile away from the Cooks. Several Native Americans were also seen that day. 2 stopped at the Cook's house, 3 stopped at a neighbor's house, silently lit pipes around the fire pit, and then left without saying a word. In Oak Lake proper, a member of a Chippewa band stopped and bought 2 gallons of whiskey. Other natives camped all around the region that night, including Kakabesha, commonly translated to Bobolink.
I kind of like that. I like that name.
Kakabesha.
He definitely is better. It's better than Frank.
Definitely better than Frank.
It's got a little more heritage behind it.
On the following morning, April 27th, 1872, all the Native Americans camping around the area abruptly and nervously left. Most leaving half-cooked food by the fire, which they were in too great of a hurry to eat.
Skinwalkers.
On that very same morning, Mrs. Small, Mrs. Cook's sister and neighbor, sent her young son to the cook's to get milk. The boy returned with no milk and told his mother,
"The house is all burned down."
Mrs. Small sprinted the 3/4 of a mile to the Cook residence to see the timbers smoldering, splatters of blood all over the cellar walls, and fragmented remains of the Cook family in the cellar. She quickly sent off for neighbors to search through the debris, which only confirmed her worst fears to be true.
That old Ricky was putting claymore mines in their cellar.
That's right,
thinking they were
the
the goddamn muskrat.
The coroner was on the scene while the house was still smoldering. Volunteers put out the fire, searched the house, found charred bones, children's teeth, gold fillings, and a set of false teeth.
Yikes.
Dr. David Pyle found traces of blood on burned fragments of clothing, but nothing to indicate how or why this tragedy took place. But the white settlers of the town, who were butted right up against the White Earth Reservation, immediately blamed the natives.
Of course they did.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
The sheriff telegraphed Governor Austin at once.
Governor Steve Austin?
Yes, Stone Cold.
That'd be amazing if he was the governor before Jesse.
Asking for a detective to be dispatched immediately. At the same time, the citizens were drafting a petition to the governor asking that all Native Americans be confined permanently to their reservations. Otherwise, the petitioner said, the people
must arise in the majesty of the first law of human nature, self-preservation, and exterminate the race of Indians.
Wow, Steve Austin is not very nice.
No, he's not.
That's the people.
Oh.
The people of the settlement were signing this as the petition to the...
So Stone Cold Steve Austin's subordinates are not very nice.
I was going to say...
his constituents. the people of the town.
They're his subordinates.
Okay.
Nobody in Minnesota is this mean, so I know this is bullshit already.
Right. It's got to come from the Rattlesnake Ranch or whatever. On the 1st of May, Governor Austin proclaimed that all Native Americans are to stay within their reservations. Governor Austin decided he would send an emissary to get the lay of the land and to figure out if this thing was going to lead to more bloodshed. He sent Dr. David Day, a St. Paul physician, as his emissary, and he reported back that the Pillager Band of Chippewa, regarded as the most heroic, bravest, and fiercest of the Chippewa, were the ones causing chaos in the region. Dr. Day had this to say to the governor.
A continual vendetta is going on between the Indians and the whites of the border, and if indulged much longer, the law of the savage will supersede the law of civilization.
Meanwhile, the actions of a particular native were drawing attention. 2 days after the Cook home burned, Bobolink sold 100 muskrat skins to a white trader. To fellow tribesmen, he sold a woman's coat, a pencil, and a gold chain. He charged $15 for the coat and $3 for the other items.
Why are pencils so expensive?
Ah, gosh. I don't know. Maybe they were magic.
Lead might be a hot commodity.
I was going to say, it's almost as much as the fucking gold chain.
It is as much.
Back then, you get yourself a good number 2.
You're good to go. Maybe it was $2.50 for the chain, 50 cents for the pencil.
Okay, that reminds me. I've literally never seen any pencil that is not a number 2 pencil.
I have.
Yeah, art pencils and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess I didn't pay attention to those.
I guess not. But you're an artist.
I can't remember the last time I've drawn anything.
Well, you're a sad man then.
Yeah.
Some days later, he appeared in Oak Lake wearing a navy coat with black buttons instead of bronze.
Hey.
He had with him a gold watch, which he pawned for $1, and a navy revolver just like the one Cook had, which he tried unsuccessfully to sell.
It's not looking good, Bobo.
News of Bobolink's actions must have reached the governor almost immediately, for he sent 2 well-known and very capable men. One of them was James Whitehead, a lumber dealer from St. Anthony who used to work near the Chippewa Band and who had known Bobolink when he was a boy. The other one was none other than our old bearded hero Alfred Brackett, who was instrumental in many, many, many of these early Minnesota cases.
Yeah.
You know, I had to look and make sure we had posted about Alfred Brackett, and one of the only Google image results is from our Instagram. So that's
really?
good.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He has appeared several times in this book. Whitehead's assignment was anything but simple. He was tasked with finding a particular man in a huge reservation, arresting him, securing him, and hauling him out, all while facing down the hostile eyes of his friends and relatives.
I mean, you're playing it up. That sounds like a pretty easy task.
Yeah, that ain't so bad. That ain't so bad.
Outnumbered like thousands to one. Yeah, whatever.
People hate you and everything you stand for. Bobolinks standing in the tribe wouldn't make Whitehead's task any easier. He was part of the most hardcore of the pillager band of the Chippewa tribe, known as the Ottertail Band.
That's a very weak name for the most hardcore of them.
They earned the nickname translated to English as men who take by force.
Okay, that makes sense.
I feel like an otter tail's pretty small, isn't it?
No idea.
I think they have a tail like a kitten or something, like
you
a
know
little
how
tiny
these,
one.
You know how this native stuff is. They have meanings for stuff that we do not understand.
Yeah.
Well, they should have been like a beaver tail or like a, I don't know what other animal has a better tail than that. Not that it matters.
Cody, stop disrespecting their culture.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Furthermore, Bobolink was a nephew of respected Chief Flatmouth. To complicate things even more, Bobolink had sold the watch chain and pencil to a brother of Red Turtle, another pillager chief.
Oof.
Knowing that Whitehead might have hard going, Governor Austin telegraphed Captain I.C. Walters, militia commander at Brainerd, to hold his troops ready to protect Bobolink, Whitehead, and Brackett if necessary. At Sandy Lake on May 20th, 1872, the pillager were holding a ceremonial of the Grand Medicine Lodge, a complex religious gathering of great importance to the Chippewa. By late afternoon, the group of several hundred men and women were in a religious and very drunken fervor. Into this lion's den walked 3 white men to arrest the nephew of the big chief, Whitehead acting as the special agent, and D.O. Preston and George W. Holland, Brainerd attorneys. Ignoring the downright hateful looks which followed him everywhere, Whitehead calmly walked through the crowd, scanning for Bobolink, whom they finally found playing the moccasin game with friends. And I did try learning the rules of this through a YouTube video, and I left more confused than before.
So they actually kind of... Do you have any idea what the moccasin game is?
Man, they throw sticks, and they're like pretending to hide stuff under a moccasin, and then there's it's fucking... I have no idea. I'm not against it. I don't hate it. I just want to know what it is.
I just figured...
You just don't understand.
I figured it was some sort of throwing your shoes at people game, but...
So did I at first. I thought it was like Kung Shu, where you kicked your shoe at somebody.
A moccasin... What can you hide under a moccasin?
They're not even moccasins, though. They're
a bunch of things.
They're like rags, mostly. It's fucking strange. Look it up. Everybody look it up if you want to. I can't explain it.
We're going to play it next week.
I have no idea. We'll play it on the next live show.
There you go.
Whitehead waited patiently for Bobolink to finish his game, then followed him as he returned to his lodge. He followed him into his lodge, told him why he was wanted, and arrested him. When Bobolink realized what was happening, he tried to snatch a knife from under the blanket he was wearing, but Whitehead was too quick. He had also taken precautions, stationing the 2 lawyers outside any lodge he entered. They were able to rush in and secure the prisoner. The 3 men had their captive, but were also smack dab in the middle of a Chippewa stronghold. At this point, it was a question of who would be imprisoning whom.
Ooh. See, okay, this makes a little more sense. For some reason, in my head, when you were telling it initially, I thought that the tribe knew that they were coming for him, but they went in secretly.
It was a sneaking mission, Snake.
Okay. If they can maybe keep them quiet or something when they're leaving with them, but probably be pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yes. 3 white men take... Yeah. To leave the reservation, the white men had to take Bobolink past the Grand Medicine Lodge itself, where his wife and family saw him and rushed out to ask what the heck was going on. Chief Red Turtle also appeared with a large group of braves and began to follow Whitehead. For a long while, it was touch and go. Whitehead would later recall,
"The chief said it seemed strange the whites would come here and take away a man without consulting him. I told him, we take prisoners first, and then we'll tell them about it. I told him he was always supposed to be a good Indian and not to meddle with this matter. If they would rescue him, I would return in 10 days with 1,000 troops. He said to tell the governor he had not melded with me."
Meddled.
He said to tell the governor he had not melded with me.
What the fuck?
Meddled.
Meddled.
You gotta leave this in.
I guess I have
You
to.
gotta leave this in. I'll reference it later on in the episode to make sure you have to leave it in.
He said to tell the governor that he had not meddled with me.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
My mind is so far gone right now.
That's hilarious. At the same time, Red Turtle, who had no wish to provoke reprisals, instructed Bobolink,
If you have done anything wrong, tell the truth, whatever you know about it.
The white men took their prisoner away from the camp. When they reached the river about a mile away, Whitehead, who must have had extraordinary composure, self-assurance, and a heavy nutsack, left Bobolink in the care of the other two men and revisited the Chippewa lodges to search for missing items from the Cook residence and to talk with other tribe members.
Very clever.
Clever. That's fucking ballsy. They were just chased away from the reservation by a group of braves.
Well, maybe he thinks he's sneaky and he can just get right in there.
Listen, that
He's
man needs a
boy.
wheelbarrow for his fucking nuts.
His visit produced results. Whitehead had seen a brave in a heavy woman's winter coat while they were apprehending Bobolink and was now seeking the wearer. When he found the correct man, he was partially drunk and said he hid the coat somewhere safe so the white men couldn't take it off him. So Whitehead went to Chief Red Turtle and demanded the coat. Red Turtle asked what he would pay for it, and the agent asked him to set a price. Red Turtle said $15, the price that was paid. Easy. About a half hour later, Red Turtle's brother handed over the chain and the pencil that he had paid $3 for, and to Whitehead's credit, he paid the man $3.
Wow.
Hey.
How nice was this fucking coat that it cost $15?
Hey, I'm just glad everybody was able to get their money back.
Yes.
But I certainly wish Mrs. Cook would still be wearing it, alive today.
Right.
With their prisoner a few miles away, and this new evidence in his possession, he was ready to leave the camp. As the afternoon had gone on, the tribe was getting more and more drunk. The squaws were taunting the men, calling them dickless cowards, and urging them to go rescue Bobolink. With fortune in their favor, the white manhunters were able to slip away before the Chippewa tribesmen became pissed enough to try a rescue.
Ooh.
On the journey from their camp to the nearest railroad station in Aiken, Bobolink nearly escaped when he was given permission to wash in the river. He dived in and began swimming rapidly, but the white men chased him in their canoe and subdued him by hitting him over the head with a paddle.
Jesus Christ. This is like a fucking cartoon.
I was just gonna say, he's getting away, go. Bonk.
After he was safely on the train, Bobolink was presented with Mrs. Cook's red cloak and was asked if he recognized it. Looking uneasy, the native said,
I think I do.
in the face of the incriminating circumstances, and after being questioned twice, Bobolink denied having any personal contact with the Cook family. He was, of course, nonetheless taken to Oak Lake by Whitehead and Brackett for a preliminary examination on May 24th. At that time, he admitted knowing about the murder, but continued to deny taking part in it. 3 Rainy Lake tribesmen committed the crime, he said. He had been sleeping peacefully under a tree when the 3 men awakened him, told him they had murdered the Cook family and plundered the house, and gave him some of their spoils to secure his silence.
Why would you just randomly wake someone up and be like, hey, we killed some people, here's some shit, don't tell anyone.
Here you go sell this stuff.
So I just killed and robbed that family over there. Take this, even though you didn't know I was here. Just don't talk about it, Bobolink.
We were never here.
The examining justice on the scene was not convinced, and ordered Bobolink to be moved to St. Paul and held in the Ramsey County Jail until the grand jury could convene. While in jail, he was visited by the half-breed, not my words, the half-breed Alan Jordan, and Bobolink opened up to him. He confessed at being a part of the Cook family murder, but said he had done so only out of duress. He claimed tribesmen from the Leech Lake Pillager Band, among whom were Kabi Mabi, which translates to one who seems to sit in different places. He was the ringleader, and Okima, which translates to king, had coerced him into it under threat of murder.
If I remember right, I think Leech Lake is the one we used to vacation at when we were
Sounds
younger.
right.
Isn't
Lower
that where,
Leech or Upper Leech?
isn't that where Eel Pout Fest is?
Yes. No. Or is that Red Lake? No, it is Leech Lake.
Yeah,
You're
it's
right.
Leech Lake because
Yeah.
it's in Minnesota.
Because Leech Lake is up
Red
by...
Lake's in Minnesota too.
No, I thought Red Lake was North Dakota.
Devil's Lake, North Dakota.
Leech Lake's like close to St. Cloud, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely that one. I remember I was so excited to like go to the super shitty video store in the town and
Hell
rent
yeah.
like a video game or something.
Hell yeah.
It was so stupid, but it's
Get a
Fuck
just
nature, I
Yeah.
want to play Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, probably. He's a little smash boy. According to the story Alan Jordan heard, Kabi Mabi learned on April 26, 1972, that a native trader had left a large quantity of furs with John Cook. Kabi Mabi then found Okima, and the two of them dragged Bobolink with them to Cook's farm. Reaching the house at 8 p.m., they stood outside the door. Kabi Mabi pushed Bobolink forward, telling him to shoot as soon as the door opened. Bobolink shot John Cook in the chest, and he fell dead instantly. Continuing his story, Bobolink said Mrs. Cook rushed to her husband's side. Kabi Mabi stepped forward and struck her with his hatchet, although she kept crying.
"Oh, don't kill me."
She was struck again, this time a deadly blow.
Was it a rowing paddle?
A hatchet.
Oh,
We've
okay.
been over this,
Yes,
Cody.
sir.
All of 15 seconds ago.
That's right. I wish it was a paddle. Though. Telling the others to wait, Kabi Mabi ran upstairs where he found two children in bed. He promptly killed them.
Oof.
The three natives then divided the spoils, including a package of furs Kabi Mabi had thrown downstairs. After setting the house ablaze, the three split up, Bobolink sprinting eastward while the other two went west.
I'm going to say this right now, Adam. When you first started this story, I was convinced that it was going to be some local white person in the town framing a Native American, but I'm completely baffled by this.
This was a strong confession, and Brackett and two others were sent on June 20th to arrest Bobolink's cohorts. Kabi Mabi and Okima were found together on the White Earth Reservation, quietly and peaceably gambling.
Can you gamble peacefully?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you don't pull a gun or something.
So you just lose all your money or whatever, and you just kind of chill and
That's
don't say
what
nothing?
all gambling addicts do.
Yeah. Be like, well, time to get a fourth mortgage on the house.
Yeah. When arrested, they made no resistance. Okima saying only, "What? What?" Neither seemed to know anything about the raid, and neither had any property connected with the Cooks. Both waived preliminary examinations and were sent to St. Paul on June 30th to await further proceedings. Kabi Mabi was described as a large, stout, well-dressed man of about 28 who wore a profusion of ear and finger rings.
Sounds like Jordan.
Yeah, a little tall, stout hipster.
Well dressed though. I don't know.
Okima was a boy of not more than 18. In that same month of June 1872, a Chippewa chief named Anoki went to St. Paul with Jean-Baptiste Botenu, another half-breed, not my
French
words,
one.
not my words, to interview the man Bobolink for themselves. It appeared that the natives dreaded white revenge for the Cook murders, welcomed the governor's order keeping them on their reservations where they felt safer, and were just as anxious as the whites to see the Cook matter investigated.
Mm-hmm.
When Anoki and Botanu questioned him about the murder, Bobolink kept to the story he had told at his preliminary examination. This time when he told the story, the three tribesmen woke him up under the tree and told him about the slaughter of the Cook family.
He's still going with this.
He's going
Yeah.
back and forth. He's just...
He's trying to save
don't-
himself.
You know how many times I've been woken up in the middle of the night and someone had to tell me about their crime?
Yeah.
Happens
Well,
all the
at
time.
least once, because I broke in and told you.
Jordan climbed up the window like Clarissa explains it all.
I could see Jordan waking up and be like, I just jaywalked.
Yeah, yeah.
It's because I'm a good boy.
Yes, you are. Further investigation showed unavoidable contradictions in Bobolink's story, and law enforcement decided to take no action against Okima and Kabi Mabi. An extreme stroke of luck for the two, as the standard just 10 years previous was hang all Indians implicated.
Whoa.
As things stood now, Bobolink had told two versions of one story in which he admitted guilty knowledge, but claimed not to have taken part in the crimes, and one version of another story in which he confessed to shooting John Cook. He suddenly became the author of still another confession,
Jesus.
in which he appeared as the Lonely Killer. This report appeared in the Duluth Minnesotan, and that is what it's called, I looked it up,
Yep.
of June 29th, 1872, and without question included some journalistic spice and embellishment. It
Gotta
went like
have it.
this.
I made up my mind to commit this crime because I was poor and needed clothing.
Upon reaching the Cook home, he opened the door and shot Cook as he sat reading. Mrs. Cook ran to her husband. Bobolinks shot her. After killing the husband and wife, he said he entered the house, found the 3 children, and killed them with a club.
They did not cry or moan.
After choosing the goods he wanted, he set fire to the house and went away.
I do not consider the above a brave act, and have never felt brave until today since I told the truth. I know I will be hanged, and I intend to give the war whoop on that occasion.
The hell is a war whoop?
We're gonna find out, Cody.
Well, not really. I just assumed everybody knew. That's like the whooping they do as they ride into war.
Much like the Dothraki.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yes. Which the Native Americans were based on. The Dothraki.
Fucking Jordan, Jesus Christ.
What?
Native Americans came first. Dothraki came first. As if to fuck up the investigation even further, Bobolinks shortly went back on his confession and said his preliminary statement was the true one. On August 8th, Bobolink offered a third confession, this time in the presence of Franklin Cook, John Cook's brother, Whitehead, his captor, and John Botanu, who had interviewed him before and now served as interpreter. Bobolink now said he had a hand in the murder, but his hand was forced. On the day before the end of the Cook family, he was hunting near Oak Lake. In the evening, he met another native named Mascabeosin, who bragged about the goods he had amassed by killing white people and proposed killing the Cook family for treasure. Bobolink held back, he said, until Mascabeosin taunted him repeatedly for being a coward. That's when he decided to go along.
Poor Bobolink, always the victim.
Yeah, he's just getting bullied into killing and robbing.
I hope he says, I watched that Adult Swim cartoon Too Many Cooks and I had to finish the rest of them off.
It was stuck in his head for so long that anybody named Cook had to die. At the Cook residence, Bobolink was still reluctant, he insisted. He and his companion stood under a tree talking until midnight. Finally, Bobolink stood guard while Mascabeosin shot John Cook through the window as he sat at the table reading. Mascabeosin entered the house, killed Mrs. Cook with a hatchet, ran upstairs, threw down the furs, and killed the children. Bobolink heard only one short cry. The 2 men then divided the plunder. As they were leaving the neighborhood, Bobolink said, Mascabeosin returned to the Cook home on some pretext or another and set it ablaze.
I'm not believing you, Mr. Bobolink.
It's too many stories for too many cooks.
There's too many cooks in the kitchen, you might say.
I was just thinking, remember when we did Alfred Packer and he had 17 different confessions?
Yes.
I'm wondering if in the law you could just keep changing a confession or if it's just is that all they knew what to do? I'm so confused why in the time period that was I'll just keep changing what I'm saying. I'm totally going to get off. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
There will be a little bit of
I think
an
it's
explanation for that.
I think it's just delaying the inevitable.
It is. Or we will see.
Okay.
Having confessed to murder in 3 different ways and having twice confessed to knowing about the murders but not disclosing it, Bobolink stayed in the Ramsey County Jail until he was formally indicted for first-degree murder by the Becker County Grand Jury on November 12th, 1872. On his defense counsel was one D.O. Preston of Brainerd, one of the men who had helped capture him, which is kind of strange.
I wonder what D.O. stands for. Don Oprah?
Don Oprah Preston. I think so.
Dean Oppenheimer Preston.
I think that's got to be it. Dean Oppenheimer Preston.
It's a classy name. Could be a lawyer.
Classy name for a classy gent, if you ask me.
He doesn't pull out.
No, he's got a lot of little DOs running about.
He's an unprotected gut shot master.
Yes.
Bobolink pleaded not guilty on the advice of his counsel.
No shit.
And since Oak Lake had no jail, he was taken all the way up to Detroit Lakes for confinement until trial.
Why would they take him way up there?
They got to get
because
him in
it's
Becker
the
County.
nearest jail.
Chief Flatmouth came to his nephew's defense as well, but also had to try and save his tribe. He played it as courageously as possible in an almost no-win situation. Already the state was unquestionably racist against Native Americans, and now a whole lot of white blood had spilled. He had this to say.
We have some sense left in us. I know my obligations to our great father, that my people will never spill the white man's blood. If it was done by some foolish young man, I do not think the whole tribe should suffer for it.
After making this statement, Flatmouth seems to have become more devious. He sent a telegram to Governor Austin, stating he had 3 men that had killed the cooks, and to meet him at Leech Lake with Bobolink to exchange the prisoners. The governor was of course skeptical, and asked the chief to bring 2 more principal chiefs and the suspects down to St. Paul. Flatmouth declined the offer, making investigators believe the chief had planned to kidnap the governor, rescue Bobolink, and use the governor as a bargaining chip against an all-out white attack. Either way, it did not work. The Chippewa stayed home and left Bobolink to the white man's justice.
Just gonna say that's probably the smart move.
I think so. I think that would have been fucking nuts.
That would have turned into a great movie that Dwayne Johnson probably shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but he would be in it anyway.
Do you think Minnesota really would care about the governor that much?
Yes.
I don't know if he got
That's
abducted.
the president of the state, Cody.
If he got abducted now, I don't think many people would care.
We also weren't, like, at war with a tribe of people we subjugated.
Yeah.
On January 15th, 1873, Bobolink's trial opened without fanfare in Byron's Hall in Detroit Lakes. This was a large room over a pool hall, and was the only room large enough to hold court in the tiny village that didn't have a courthouse.
Just imagine they're in court and you just hear that ding.
Oh, someone just broke.
Just fucking pool cues getting smashed everywhere. Bar fights breaking out.
I hope they're playing 9-ball. In a murder case, the easiest part for the prosecution is to prove that a human came to death. The hard part, especially in this case, with 6 different stories told by the defendant, and all evidence corrupted by fire, was how the humans came to death. That's kind of the reason why he kept switching it up so much.
Yeah, I see that.
Upon reviewing the evidence, Dr. Pyle of St. Paul was able to state positively that the charred bone fragments were those of human beings, and the small teeth were those of children. He could also identify the skull fragment as that of a human female. Pointing to the traces of subcutaneous hemorrhage in the skull, he explained that someone must have struck her on the head with enough force to kill.
Kind of like with a hatchet.
Could be, huh?
Do you think that would have punctured the skull? Or you think your skull's thick enough to handle that?
They're all charred skull fragments, too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tough to put that together back then.
I just need some Gorilla Glue, bro. Can you imagine that little monkey in the commercial just like gluing a skull back together?
Apart from testimony that blood had stained the cellar walls, this was the only evidence that the death might have occurred from violence. Dr. Philo S. Calkins, a Minneapolis dentist, identified the false teeth as a set he had made for John Cook. This is definitely the first case in Minnesota criminal prosecution where dental records were used to identify a murder victim.
Wow.
Very common practice today, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Bobolink's defense was presented poorly. His counsel didn't even try to hint at another guilty party, or show that Bobolink had no weapons on him on the day in question. No one demanded the presence of any of the men Bobolink had accused, and although the possession of the stolen cook's goods looked guilty, there was a bunch of different people with some of the cook's belongings.
Do you know if he had a white lawyer, you think?
Yeah, it was one of the guys that arrested him.
Yeah.
Oh,
D.O. Preston.
my bad. I was thinking because it's definitely...
Dipton Paul Orenthal Preston.
So it's definitely probably a white jury, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, I doubt that they care if they kind of make it fair for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's they kind of already. This seems like one of those cases where they already knew the verdict before.
He's like, "Can we get the fuck out of here, D.O. Preston? I got pool to shoot."
The defense then brought in 2 fucking Looney Tune quack doctors to testify. The first described himself as a practicing physician of the eclectic school, which flourished in New York and had no connection to any recognized American medical school.
My favorite type.
The second man revealed that, while he had not spent a day studying in any medical school, he had nevertheless read with great care several anatomy books with pictures.
Oh, see, those pictures are what do it for you.
Imagine if you could get away with this now. How many fucking true detectives would Instagram have right now?
Oh, God.
God, I love 1872. What a fucking crazy time to be alive.
Sir, can you tell me where the tricep is? Actually, right here. Oh my god, he's legit.
He's a doctor.
I know why a man gets a boner. I'm a doctor.
He's a witch.
It's because of demons that infiltrate the penis,
I
right?
tell you what, Bobolink
Because-
didn't have his dose of cocaine this morning. That's why he went crazy and killed somebody.
Both men confessed they couldn't tell the difference between a male and female skull. With this laughably idiotic effort, the defense rested. On January 18th, 1873, an hour and a half after retiring, the jury returned with its verdict. Guilty of murder in the first degree, and recommended death. This appears to be one of the few cases where death was actually recommended by the jurors acting under the 1868 law, which left it to the jury to decide whether a convicted murderer should hang.
Wow.
3 days later, Judge McKelvey pronounced the formal sentence of death by hanging, and the prisoner was taken to St. Paul for confinement until the governor set the date. Tensions were rising on both the native and the white side. It was a political quagmire. Should Bobolink be hanged while others accused of the crime were not cleared or even investigated, retribution from the Chippewa would be brutal. But on the other hand, if Governor Austin commuted his sentence, the tribe might overstep their bounds, thinking that the white man was too lenient. Whatever the governor decided was to be the wrong decision.
Lose-lose situation here.
The Kobayashi Maru of governor decisions.
Yep.
I'm got my chips in one corner. I'm pretty sure I know what he's gonna do. But we'll find out.
I can't even imagine this being fate, but I guess it stepped in at this point. Bobolink died of the quick consumption while in custody at the Ramsey County Jail. Never has there been a case of consumption that was so quick or so convenient.
I guess I was like, how easy is it to like trick the symptoms of TB?
I don't know.
Okay, when we talked about Marianne Cotton, was the poison, or that was for typhus?
No.
I think the symptoms of arsenic poisoning was typhus, I think. I don't know if it was TB.
Okay.
I think it was just typhus.
Shit.
Yeah, it was typhus.
I don't know.
Maybe another poison looks like
here's,
it.
they said he died of the quick consumption, right? The sheriff immediately had Bobolink buried in a secret place. His body still undiscovered, and he was never allowed to give his war whoop at his hanging. A little follow-up. In July 1872, the citizens of Oak Lake had the cellar filled in at the Cook residence and interred the family remains on the site. It is marked by a small bronze plaque set there in 1923 by the Grand Army of the Republic and reading,
This plot marks the site of the home of John Cook, pioneer settler who, with his family, were murdered by Indians on April 26, 1872.
It should be noted that the plaque says Indians, not Indian, and this is probably the truth.
Clever. So I feel like this story left me with a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Questions that we'll never have answers to, obviously.
I wish we could, because nobody knows who was all involved in the Cook slangs.
I know how we can find out. We get ourselves a DeLorean with a flux capacitor.
Yeah.
We hit 88.
I want to find Bobolink's body.
I feel like, Jordan, this wouldn't be a great time period to hang out in.
Sounds
Doesn't
awful.
sound fun. Yeah.
Sounds awful. Sounds really scary and
Yeah,
bad.
but I can bring modern weapons with me, so
I don't know if that's how that works. Can weapons go back?
I feel like Marty McFly went back to like the 50s with like the same clothes he had
he
on.
had clothes and stuff.
He had the pumps.
If I
was
have it
thinking more
with me
Terminator.
inside the DeLorean, I think I'm good.
Yeah. I was thinking more Terminator.
Okay, Adam, so I'm curious. What do you believe happened?
What
What do you think?
I think Bobolink had a hand in it, and I also think there were other conspirators. I don't think it was the two he named that clearly didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
King and the man who sits in many places at once.
So you think definitely Bobolink did assist in killing him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way too... He knew way too much,
I
and
was
he
gonna
had
say,
way too
yeah.
much stuff for
Too
that.
many details for
Yeah.
someone who isn't the killer. Seems like it'd be hard for one man to take out a whole family, but then again, I don't know.
I'm trying to put myself in the political mind frame of the time
Yeah.
where it's like, you really got to tread through the tulips with the fucking native problem.
Yeah.
I feel like Governor Austin was gonna hang him.
Yeah.
I just feel
I don't
like
think he was
he
going to
didn't
commute.
care.
No.
I don't think he cared.
I think that sheriff did him a fucking sneaky back alley favor and put one in his head or
I'm
something.
gonna have to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look. Oh yeah, I guess they just said he died of it. They didn't have an
Quick
autopsy.
consumption,
or
yeah.
anything.
I mean, he was buried in a secret location. Nobody investigated the body, anything like that.
He's probably under Shepherd Road right now.
I assume he's he's somewhere near Detroit Lakes.
How far? It's like 6 hours from here, ain't it? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're probably right. It was him and probably two dudes. Because it's weird he kept mentioning two other people in all his stories. Even the ones where he's like, oh, they woke me up, you know.
Plus, that's a lot of people to butcher.
Yeah.
By yourself. Yeah.
That's
I
3
don't know.
kids and 2 adults.
Listen, the kids probably weren't that much of a problem.
No, they were like 9, 7, and 21 months.
I'm still trying to figure out where he would, like, the chief's name was like Flatmouth, obviously, after a rock. Or the other one was Red Turtle, even though I've never seen a completely red turtle. Where do you get Bobolink?
Well, yeah. His real name is something different, but that's what it's like. That's what it's translated to.
Ow.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought. Okay, I got
And
you.
I didn't want to keep saying dude's
The
name
hard
if I didn't
one,
have to.
the
yeah.
hard version.
And plus, it's called Bobolinks Last War Whoop. You know what I mean? He was known to everyone as Bobolink.
Yep.
He just keeps reminding me of like a string of sausages for some reason. I don't know why.
He reminds me of a homeless Link from Legend of Zelda. He's a fucking Bobo-ass Link.
I like that.
Yeah. So, did you like it?
I loved it.
It's great.
Very good. I love the Minnesota murders.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Walter Trenery. Thank you.
He's a master.
He is.
I'm still like
Racist, but
Do
good.
you believe that if they did hang him, a war would have broke out, or is that just kind of?
But really, it wouldn't. Like, I don't know.
I know.
I think there
that's
might
like
have been a small uprising, but not like a full-blown war.
I think things would have ended differently for the Chippewa if that happened. But
Yeah.
goddamn, that sucks.
Yeah, they wouldn't be making delicious craft beer right now, would they, Jordan?
I'm not sure if they do.
Chippewa Valley.
yeah.
What's that?
That's in Wisconsin.
What's the beer that don't you drink it?
Don't you drink Chippewa Falls?
There's a beer company that they make
Leinenkugels is in the Chippewa Valley. It's in
I
Chippewa
thought there
Falls
was-
in
I
Wisconsin.
swear
yeah,
there was
that's-
one called Chippewa.
I think
something.
that's seltzer water.
Oh,
right? Or was it-
yeah, that could be Sparkle Water.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's what that is.
Okay.
so.
Yeah, that's very different from craft beer.
Yeah,
They both suck.
There's a lot of shit called Chippewa around here.
Yeah.
There really is.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, they were a big part of it, and they
Yeah.
deserve it.
I know it's like revisionist history to think if they war or whatever, but it's kind of
It's very interesting. I
Yeah.
just wish I knew more about war tactics of the time and to see if they would have been able to do anything. They think not they. I read a few things that said if the Chippewa would have uprose with the Sioux, then it would have had a little bit of a difference, maybe. But
I mean, we don't know the populations of both of them, but
Yeah.
I'm
More
sure
bodies
somebody's
help.
thought about it.
Yeah.
I just am not an expert. I just read the story and thought it was fucking rad.
well, it's great. I love it.
Hell yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, as well as my friends here. As good. Something. I don't know. If you want to get in touch with us, it's bumblebuttpodcast@gmail.com.
What's that, Adam?
bumblebuttpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at bumblebuttpod and on Facebook and Instagram at bumblebuttpodcast. Jordan and I also have personal Instagrams. Mine is at bumbleadam. Jordan's is at j.j.fox.
Yeah.
Now time for the most important part of the show, at least if you ask Cody, the iTunes review.
And we did get one more,
Hey.
and I think it's basically for Adam only.
Holy, that's what I like to hear.
It's from Carmina. It's literally called Adam.
Whoa.
Adam's laugh and giggles is the highlight of this podcast. Sometimes I think I laugh because he does, lol. These guys are super funny and I love their banter. Cover things are people I have never heard of with great detail and commentary.
Yes, that's what I like to hear. I don't
she
want to
really
do
likes
everything
you,
else.
so I think you could do this by yourself.
I mean,
for her.
Adam does have a fantastic laugh.
That's so nice.
I was gonna bring this up earlier when I was recording with Phil. We were talking about you guys, and he's like, "Well, they really Adam's got the voice, right? He's got that voice, and then Phil's like, Jordan, he's got the looks. He can get the girls. They just didn't say anything about me. And I'm like,
says that?
I'm like, okay, I guess I don't even need to be here, Phil. Thanks, buddy.
Do you want me to call Adam or Jordan and have them do this? No.
I mean, I can either get the voice or apparently the looks.
He notices all the girls like you. He was watching the live show.
I don't get it.
They were calling you a chocolate chip or whatever.
Yeah,
I know,
just a little snack.
They once,
snack
God, I
balls.
wish I remembered who called me a snack. Everyone just joined in. I was like, this is not right.
Humble brag over here.
Fuck no. I have a
hated
mirror.
it
I
when they
know
were
it.
attracted to me.
Well, as this all melts down and devolves into chaos, I would like to thank everybody for listening, and I want you to all have a nice weekend, unless it's Tuesday.
I've had to pee for this entire episode.